Let's check in with Nicole Jennings on the story of, just when you thought the viral apocalypse was gone, it's come back. And same thing with murder hornets. We thought, hey, we haven't seen any of these murder hornets for a while, but now we've got a live one. Nicole, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Always well, and there's nothing I like more than monstrous creatures like these murder hornets. They're about roughly the size of a flying mouse with a stinger, the size of a cat's claw, ready to go after folks. And we're finding them here in Washington State. What's the latest on their status?
Well, the fact that they've been seen in this case is actually a good thing because the State Department of Agriculture was able to find their nest yesterday. And so now that nest can be destroyed with all the hornets in it. So this is actually a good thing. The sightings in the last week helped lead to this discovery. And this is great compared to last year because last year they didn't find a nest until I think it was late October, which is pretty late in the season. So this is pretty early in the Asian Giant Hornet season already that they found one. So I think that bodes pretty well for the rest of the season if they're kind of already ahead of the game.
Now, what does that mean when you say season? Because I'm picturing season like there's raspberries and blackberries, get a season for various things.
It's like baseball season. No.
Yeah.
When the workers start leaving the nest to go out hunting, so the Asian Giant Hornets, they hibernate for several months of the year, kind of the winter months. And then in the spring, you might see the queens coming out, but the workers don't start to come out until usually July at the earliest. So summertime, late summer is kind of when you will start seeing them. And last year, it took a few months for them to really get into the mode of being able to track them and catch them and find the nest and all. But this year, last week was the first time that they actually had a sighting of a live one. A guy in Blaine, just east of Blaine, got a photo of it attacking a paper wasp nest. And then within a few days, they were able to capture a few more of them, attach little trackers to their bodies so they can track their GPS movements, keep an eye on where they're going. And one of the trackers fell off, one of the hornets. And then a second hornet they lost track of somehow. But the third one was the charm, and they were able to follow that one home.
That is awesome. And do they think all three were from the same nest, or are they still looking for additional nests out there?
Well, that's still the $1 million question is how many nests are out there. This is great that they found one, but there certainly could be others in the area. And at the time that they destroyed the one last year, that was just east of Blaine, within a couple of miles of where this newest nest is actually. But there were also hornets seen in the Birch Bay area, which is, a few miles away from Blaine. Now, on a map, it looks like they're close, but if you're driving around in that area, it is a lot of farmland. And so seeing as hornets usually have about a 5-mile radius that they're going to fly, there could very well be a few other nests out there. And then the problem is every year when they all go into hibernation, the queens fly away and found new nests. And in the nest that was destroyed last year, there were a couple of hundred queens. So just doing the math on that, if there was another nest, say in Birch Bay, and even if just a few of those queens managed to go and start new nests, we could be looking at several out there. I don't know, maybe that's a worst case scenario, but the State Department of Agriculture says it's very possible there are more than one still in the area. So one down, possibly a few more to go.
When they talk about preparing to destroy a nest, like when I prepare to destroy a hornet's nest, I prepare by buying Raid. By the way, just a side note, there are other brands of insect killer, but with personal experience, I can tell you, Raid will drop them out of the sky, but the others, they will work, but they will sting you first. It'll knock them back a little bit, but they have enough buzz power to get to you, bite you, or sting you, and then die. So I highly recommend, the full-on, don't skimp on the brand Raid when it comes to hornet control. But on this stuff, what do they use? I mean, is it the same kind of bug killer stuff? Or my understanding is that these murder hornets are generally have nesting under the ground. What do you know what they use? Or
and in this
showed you?
Yeah, in this case, the nest is actually kind of at the base of the tree rather than up higher in the tree. So they might have to chop the whole tree down first. That's why it's going to take a few days to kind of figure out their plan of attack here, because the whole tree might be kind of contaminated. And that's what happened with the last one last year. But this is a very high-tech murder hornets that's going on. I mean, they wear full-on kind of hazmat suits going in. I don't think that I, as a journalist, would be allowed to be there witnessing it just because the liability is too high. I mean, these things, they're not They don't usually kill people unless you have an allergy or something, but it certainly would hurt to be stung by one, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where there are more than one of these in the area. But I'm not exactly sure how they go about killing them. I know that last year what they did is they put some sort of gas into the nest that would put them all to sleep. And then that way they were able to remove the nest. And then I know they took all of the hornets, and I don't think they killed them right away because some of them they wanted to study and do testing on them and things. And then they removed the nest, and the nest you can see right now at the Northwest Washington Fair in Linden. It's actually on display. My mom saw it the other day and got a photo for me. So
that is cool.
If you have a fascination with murder hornets, I think the fair is on through tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Nicole. I'd be like Kurt Russell in The Thing. Burn it. Burn the whole thing, Just pour gas on it, burn it. Burn the tree.
Burn the whole tree.
Yep. Burn the acre. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I saw a hornet from that my dad brought back. I want to say it was from Panama in like Ember. They had it, and the thing was, I mean, I don't know if there's other kinds of non-murder hornets, but it had all the hallmarks of the same kind of thing. And the locals would apparently talk about how, yeah, you definitely want to avoid those. I mean, these things were like mouse-sized. Huge wings, huge everything, just looked like absolute terrifying science fiction. And that, they were just kind of hanging out in the jungle out there, which made me wonder why anybody pauses to live in the jungle out there. Anytime I see anything like that, it's like Florida. I can see pausing in Florida and saying, these are great beaches. What a fantastic beach. First alligator I saw, I'd be, yeah, I'm headed west. I'm going to keep going. Same with Australia, I mean, at least there they have an excuse. They're all prisoners dropped off there. But otherwise, I'd be like, okay, I'm at the beach. There's a saltwater crocodile. I'm leaving. Good to know you. Nice place. Won't be back. So now Washington State trying to fight off their own murder hornets and COVID